international relationship expert. And I know that because I wrote it down there. She's a master in non-verbal communication, so she'll probably be able to read everything you're thinking out there. When she was young, she created her own secret language, a bit like young Sheldon. She was so smart. I just have to say that she's like a little pocket rocket. She's like a little rabbit that comes around. And I've spoken to a few people that worked with and they just rave about her. They absolutely love her to bits. She's done a lot of work in the field of autism and people with disability, so she's got a heart of gold. And really, you are the honey in the honeycomb. Would you please welcome Wendy Corner?
Thank you very much, Jill. Here we are. It's Wednesday evening. It's the middle of the first week back of term. Little people have gone off to school. Teachers have gone back to school. Okay, but the point being, thank you very much for coming out tonight. I know what each one of you is thinking. International relationship expert? When did she get off? Has she got anything to say to me? Am I going to actually be able to understand anything from what she's saying? Well, I was speaking with a group a couple of weeks ago, and afterwards a number of people came up to me and said, that 10 minutes was the most useful I've heard. I've spent in a long time. You gave me so many tips and tricks. Can't wait to get home and try them out. So my request for you tonight is for you to give me those 10 minutes or a little bit longer, just to see whether you can get some gold out of what we're saying tonight. Okay? So, here we go. Bonjour tout le monde, ça va? Grüezi maintenant, wie geht's? Ai, Abadi, fit like. Kaya, Jurban, Mi Yuri, Mama Kwab, Aya. Okay, no prizes for guessing that I said the same thing in 5 different languages. Good, great, I can do 5 different languages, but if you didn't understand them, I might just as well have been talking to the wall. You need to be able to understand for communication to work. So if your love language, the one that you're producing, is not the one that the other person's understanding, ain't gonna work. Who here is in the first flush of infatuation in a new relationship? Yay, we got one person. 2 people, yay. Who here can remember those first few months? Yay, okay, yeah, we got a few more. Right, cast your mind back to those heady days when every waking moment was taken up thinking about your beloved, and not a few sleeping moments too. You were thinking, what am I going to say to them? How am I going to kiss and cuddle them? What can I give them? How can I spend time with them? Every single love language just came tripping out. You didn't need to think about it. At that point in time, you were mentally checked out. You were under the influence of testosterone, estrogen, oxytocin, dopamine, serotonin. You were on a hormone highway. Now, at that point, as I said, your brain had checked out. So if at that point you had been well counselled and you had consciously stepped off this highway and thought about checking out your values, do you actually believe in the same things? Did you have the conversation that you both want children? Wish we'd had that one. If you did both want children, were you on the same page with your child rearing? What about career? Whose career was going to take priority? If one of you had the opportunity for an interstate promotion, would you take it? All of these questions are very valuable conversations I suggest that you have before, as Beyonce puts it, you put a ring on it. And one of those other conversations I would suggest would also be to work out what your primary love language is and tell your partner. So that when after a couple of years one of you comes down off the high and normal service is resumed and your mother would recognise you for who you are and not the hormone-ridden high, you wake up that morning and go, who are you? Because suddenly they're no longer speaking all 5 languages fluently and you're left with the person speaking what they normally speak, which chances are isn't your language. 2 of you, 5 love languages, you can work out the maths. So that's where it would be really helpful if you knew ahead of time what the other person's love language is. So I've been given gifts. Now we have a round of gift giving every year. Mother's Day is coming up if some of you have forgotten. Keep that one in mind, you'll get some brownie points. There's Father's Day, there's Christmas, there's Easter. Then there are the big events like weddings. I suspect all of us here have been to one, whether our own or as a guest for somebody else's. Wedding lists are part of the deal. You expect to give gifts. Some people have a list, other people prefer to do it spontaneously, and as a result I got 5 cheese boards. Another question entirely. Okay, so, but if receiving gifts is your primary love language, the most important thing that you're going to get is that wedding ring. And you will not take it off because it is such a token of your partner's love for you. If, however, your love language is not gift giving, that wedding ring is not as important to you. And you might take it off, particularly if you're a bloke and you're not used to wearing a wedding ring. Like a friend of mine who's also a sportsman takes his wedding ring off and plays with it and it flies off the desk and he goes looking for it. Well, he did that at home and it ended up down the sofa and he lost it for a couple of days. His wife's language is gift receiving. He was in the doghouse. Once he found it, they compromised and he now wears it on a chain around his neck. He can still fiddle with it, but he's still wearing it. Got back in her good books. His primary language is quality time. They've now sussed it. So then, love languages in terms of gifts. So if your love language is gifts, we're not talking about just the big ones, we're talking about everyday little gifts. Just little things to top up the love tanks. Gary Chapman talks about having love tanks, and in the early days, they're filled. As I said, we all speak those love languages brilliantly because of the hormone high. If your gift giving is your primary language, gift receiving is your primary language, then your partner needs to just drop in gifts on a regular basis. Now, if this isn't your normal modus operandi, you're going to have to think about it. Is it going to be difficult to start with? Maybe. Is it going to be clunky? Yes. Are you going to get it wrong? Absolutely. Is it going to be worth it? You bet. So turn to the person next to you and say, it's so worth it. So, gentlemen, if the first time you hand over a bunch of flowers and you're not used to it, lose the guilty look. She'll wonder what you've been up to, okay? But try different things. Alicia gave us a challenge of the 12 stamps. I'm going to give you a challenge of 7 straight days to give your partner something special each day. It doesn't have to be expensive. If you have a bank balance to rival Donald Trump and you keep giving your partner something from the reject shop, then maybe you're going to have a problem. However, dollar value is not what we're on about here. It's actually the fact that it means something. It's a token of your love. So if you're going out for a romantic walk, even if it's a power walk to shed those few kilos, and you spot something that could be a demonstration of your love. It could be a stone, it could be a twig, just something that is a reminder of something that you've done together. That can be important, just something as simple as that. It could even be a voucher to say, I promise to come to something that you want. It might not be something that you would appreciate, but your presence is the gift. So that's something else. And that's not going to cost you anything. other than a bit of effort. And ladies, you may end up going to a footy match. No, guys, you may end up going to something that you don't really want to, like a art gallery. Yeah, okay, I'm being very stereotypical here. I'm sure we all have the idea. So the gifts then are where we're going for. It doesn't need to be much, but it's the gift, it's the thought that counts. Is it going to be difficult? It might be. Is it worth it? Yes, I've said it is. Don't leave it too late. I came to this book just getting hold of the idea, just about to move forward with it, and my husband died very suddenly. Now, I'm not saying that to get sympathy, I'm saying that to make sure that you don't lose momentum. When you came in tonight, you found a little wooden heart on your chair. Take it home. Write on it what your love language is on one side. On the other, if you're not here with your partner, discuss it with him or her and write theirs on the other side. If you have children, discuss with your children your love languages and theirs. Have a chart up on the fridge so that you can start introducing the idea to your children as they grow up. You will then create a generation where that discussion has been said before the hormones kick in. Okay? Do yourselves a favour, do the next generation a favour. Ignite that passion. Fan the flame. Get that bonfire going, guys. Gifts is what it's all about. Thank you.